Excellent. So welcome everybody to this evening. We have Vivia Johnson in the hot seat, as it were. And we're so looking forward to finding out more about you, Vivia. And first, let me just introduce myself. I'm Carol Edmondson. I am part of Business Action Momentum Enterprise, a member of the core group. And on the Zoom tonight, we have for a short while the co-founder, in fact, not the co-founder, but in fact, the founder of Business Action Momentum Enterprise with the acronym BAME, Jennifer McIntosh. So Jennifer, I know you're in the car and you're going elsewhere at the moment, but would you like to say a few words about BAME?
Yes, thank you very much, Carol. BAME, Business Action Momentum Enterprise, as Carol mentioned, is the acronym for BAME, which is Black, Asian, Minority, Ethnic. Now, the organisation has been going for over 2 years now, and it started off really with an idea and also a need based on lack of representation for Black businesses within our community. The government realised that we needed more representation, and hence the reason why, BAME was born. There was a lot of research prior. We were working with the Birmingham City University, who did various surveys and confirmed that we do need some support in terms of not only setting up our own businesses, but making sure that it's a success. So for the first year, it was practically a one-man band, and I realised that a lot of people were interested in the concept and some people needed more support, and BAME was born. And yes, we are growing. We have the website. We have obviously the interactive Zoom. We have the Facebook page, and there's so many different things that BAME is doing. Unfortunately, due to the lockdown, we have to do the network events this way, but hopefully in the near future we'll continue doing network events in the community, where we'll have professional speakers to discuss various elements about the business world. But yeah, if you've got any questions later on, please put it in the chat, speak to Carol, and then I will answer the questions as best as I can.
Excellent. Excellent. And Vivia, you're a paid up member of BAME, yes. Business Action Momentum Enterprise. And yes, as a paid up member, you have the opportunity to showcase yourself on these Zoom interactive sessions. And it's Vivia's turn this evening, and we will turn the attention to you now, Vivia. Wow. So, who is Vivia Johnson? Come on down.
Wow, okay, right. So I am one of 11 children.
Woo!
Wow. I am smack bang in the middle. So there's five, I have 5 older siblings and 5 younger siblings. So I'm right in the middle of 11 children for my dad, my parents. I was born in Jamaica in the country, St. Elizabeth. And I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up with my grandparents. I didn't know my parents at all because my mom left me when I was really, really young. So I had no knowledge or memory of her. I didn't have any recollection of my dad or either. So I heard when I came here to the UK when I was 9, I heard that my dad used to cry when he heard the song Cherry, oh Baby, because I was named Cherry by my parents when I was younger. So yeah, so that's me. I came to the UK when I was 9, but the years I spent with my grandparents, I had a really solid foundation. They brought us up in a Christian environment. When my grandmother couldn't go to church, I had to attend church and go back and tell her what church was all about. And there's a story going around to say that on one occasion when I came back from church and she asked me what was the sermon, and I said to her that me and Sister Levy are going to get caught up tomorrow. That was, it was to do with the rapture. So I came back and told her that me and Sister Levy was going to get caught up in the rapture tomorrow. So yeah, so I came here, very enthusiastic young person in terms of learning, and it's very competitive when you're in school in Jamaica. So I came here at 9 and realized that life was so different to growing up back home. So I met my parents for the first time, myself and my sister. We came up together. My sister's 2 years older than me. When we were growing up, I used to call her sister. So when I came here, I was told I had to call her Marcia, and I found that really, really difficult. So rather than calling her Marcia, I used to go, psst, psst, psst. I just found it really difficult. So, you know, early years. I've always had an ambition. I've always been ambitious, had this entrepreneurial spirit in me, always thinking, right, I need to do something for myself. I think there was an element of fear, to an extent, maybe fear of success, fear of failure, that sort of crippled me to a degree. And I've had some early experience which may have psychologically damaged me in that respect. So my ambition was to retire when I was 40. I won't tell you exactly how old I am now, but I'm sure I'm only looking about 35, maybe, around about that. So yes, I've always had this ambition to retire when I was 40. I wanted to have my own business and to have a successful business and to just be debt-free and financially independent. It hasn't happened, and I'm still working full-time, but I'm building my business part-time. Yeah.
Excellent. So looking at your biography, I see that you also spent some time as a social worker.
Yes, I qualified as a social worker many years ago, and I worked for Birmingham City Council for approximately 21 years in various capacity. One of my the roles that I really enjoyed was spending 8 years at the City Hospital, and part of my time there I became the specialist social worker for people with sickle cell and thalassemia, and I really, really enjoyed that role. So yes, I qualified as a social worker, practiced, I worked in residential services, I worked in the generic field, and I worked in the hospital setting as well. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, sickle cell is something that, you know, there isn't a lot of funding for, if any. And I know they tried very hard in London to get an establishment to continue to be funded. What sort of, in the Midlands or West Midlands, is there any facility that looks after people with sickle cell? I've got a very good friend, Laurie Moruth, who suffers really badly, and a church brother who also goes through crises quite often. So what options, from what you'd know, because one of your passions is to deliver something for the community that deals with sickle cell and thalassemia.
Yeah.
To look twice then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thalassemia. So, so unfortunately, I think that there is still a lack of provision. When I worked with the councillor some years ago, the plan was to, a piece of land was acquired in Birmingham, and the plan was to develop a project that would support people with sickle cell and thalassemia, but I think there was some politics going on, and unfortunately that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But that's something I was really keen to get developed. It's still a passion of mine, but things take money, as we know. I'm sure there's a lot of money. We had Oscar Birmingham. I'm not sure exactly what's happening with Oscar Birmingham, whether it's still very active. I've been out of the sickle cell world for quite a number of years now, so I'm not sure exactly what is currently happening. But I know that whilst I was at City Hospital, they were keen to make sure that people who came to hospital in a crisis situation didn't have to sit in A&E services. So they had a service specifically designed for that. And I'm not quite sure whether that's still up and running, but certainly, you know, people felt that they weren't believed when they came to a hospital with a crisis, and some of the nursing staff had the idea that people were hooked on drugs, and that's why they were coming to hospital so frequently. So it takes somebody really who's got that specialist knowledge and skills in that area to be able to support people on an ongoing basis. I think there is still a lack. There is still a stigma within the community, and people don't talk about it as openly as they should. So that's an area that I think still needs to be developed further.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your passion? What drives you? What motivates you now? What are you loving doing now?
Honestly, I love people. I think I just love people. I love people. And I've said it before that to me, everybody, when I look at everybody, I look at people so, as being so special, as being so unique, as this unique creation. I have respect for every human being. So I guess my passion is to help people in whatever capacity I can help. And looking at my career, obviously I've been in that role where I've always been helping people. And I'm one of these people that will go the extra mile, will deny my own self and go the extra mile to do something for somebody. I can give you 2 instances where I've actually put my own life on the line for the safety of others. And this was many years ago when I lived in Wolverhampton. I was at the bus stop, and there was a man, and I can see him now, and I know his name. There was 4 of us standing at the bus stop waiting for the bus to arrive. And the bus arrived, and we were getting on the bus, and this man decided to start attacking 2 of the female people that were getting on the bus. And everybody in the bus froze, including the bus driver. And then there was a white lady who was trying to say to stop him from, you know, attacking these 2 black women. And then he started to attack her as well. And then so I got involved, and I thought, I can't just stand by and watch this happen. So then he started to attack me. And I didn't think twice about my own life. I didn't think twice about my own safety. I saw that somebody else needed help, and I was just in there. I ended up with some injuries, quite a few injuries actually. I had my hair braided, I had hair pulled from the roots, I had skin from my mouth, my eye, everything. So, you know, it was a fairly serious attack. And I later found out that this was a gentleman who was known to mental health services, and there was attempts to get him sectioned before, and it didn't happen. So that was the result of him, you know, being in the community and, you know, causing harm to others. And the other occasion was in my local area in Handsworth. I was driving home, and there was a group of young people coming from school at the bus stop, and a fight broke out at the bus stop, and adults were just kind of standing, and this guy was just beating into this schoolgirl, and I just got out my car. I put my hazard lights on, and I got out my car, and I went in the middle of them, and I parted the fight. And I spoke to them as young people and said, you can't, look at what you're doing to each other. Again, I didn't even think about my own safety. I didn't think about my own life, because I think I love people, and you know, for me, it's about what can I do to enhance somebody's life. That's me. And I guess that's embedded in me from a young age and my upbringing. I'm a believer in God. I'm a worshipper of Yahweh. And I cannot say that I love God and worship God when I cannot love my fellow man.
That is commendable. But didn't anyone call the police on either of those 2 occasions?
No.
That always astounds me.
Yeah. I think people just froze. Yeah. So it's after the event that you start to evaluate it. Oh my gosh, your heart starts pounding, and you think, wow. But when you're in that moment, you're not actually thinking about your own life and safety.
But your family would love to have you around a lot longer. You've got to think of,
I think God protected me in those situations, but yes, wisdom.
Oh my goodness. So, any questions so far for Vivia?
Vivian?
Hi.
Yeah, I'd like to apologise first and foremost, because it's only now I realise that I actually introduced you to the WhatsApp.
Okay.
Do you remember the conversation that we had? And you was talking about helping young people, and I told you about BAME.
Yes.
And there
All right.
I just, sorry, it never connected. But all I can say is that conversation that we had, I was astounded by some of the things that you were saying. Obviously, you mentioned about working with young people, and which is a passion of mine as well. And obviously, you mentioned about the sickle cell. So all I can say that you're a unique person, and not only do we need somebody like you within our community in terms of BAME, but I know that you're an asset to a lot of people that you help as well in the future. So all I can say is well done, and you're amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Anyone else before we move on? Trish?
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Trish.
I'm just sitting here as an observer, and just to be inspired by people's stories. I'm in London, so sorry, excuse me. So I've not heard of your organisation before, so I was quite curious as to what the organisation was all about. So I'm just here as an observer. I like what I hear. I like the story. Yeah, it's great to help other people. That's a great commodity, and it's always about paying it forward. So again, I just look forward to being inspired by your stories.
Oh, wonderful and welcome.
Yeah.
So, anyone else, Rose?
I know Vivia, and one thing I can say is that she does go the extra mile. So, yeah, that's what I'd say. I love people's stories. People's stories are always an inspiration. So, yeah, so that's what I'll say just now.
All right. Anybody else, feel free to jump in. Otherwise, David, did you want to say something?
Okay. Yeah, I can vouch for the fact that Vivia has been really, she's a lover of people. That's what I've noticed, because I've joined Genistar in Vivia's group through a man called Gilbert. But really and truly, Gilbert didn't do much. He introduced me, but then he sort of took a backseat, and Vivia was really introduced to me. She got me, because there's a policy I needed to get. She connected me to the policy. She took her time with that, and then there's just so much time that Vivia's given to me. And it just comes. It comes naturally. I can see it comes naturally with Vivia.
Yeah.
And so I can vouch for that. Yeah, she's really a lovely woman.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Excellent. So, Vivia, now we move on to, David has just about the other side of you in terms of what you're doing to help other people in the community. So tell us a bit about that.
Okay. So, Genistar is a company that was formed in 2008 2007 on the back of the banking crisis, around about 2007, 2008. And the ethos of that organisation is to help families to understand how money works. The CEO is a gentleman called Jeff Letts. I think he came to the UK in 2003, and he's got an amazing story. So his passion is to help people become debt-free and financially independent. Now, as an entrepreneur and as somebody that has always been looking for and searching for something that I felt passionate about, when I heard about Jenny Star in 2018 and I saw it for the third time, I thought, wow. I rang the person who introduced me to the business and I said I wanted to join up there and then. So Jenny Star, the name Jenny Star comes from the book of Genesis. That's where that name comes from. It's creation of leaders and it's about helping families. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't recall ever learning about how money works. All my years in school, learning about history and Bunsen burner and all sorts of stuff that was irrelevant to me when I left school, to be honest. I don't recall ever learning about money at school. And so I think for me, I grew up financially illiterate. I always earned money since I left school. I found job after job after job. So I was always earning money. But how did I understand what to do with that money when I earned that money? Nobody actually taught me. And it's only now in my later life and becoming involved in Jenny Star that I'm beginning to understand about how money works. So that's my passion. That's become one of my passions. I've got quite a few, but my passion is to teach people about how money works. And I have to use the Bible because of my foundation as a believer. I have to use the Bible. I say to people, please forgive me, or please don't forgive me, but I can't help bringing God into the equation when I speak. I have to. So for me, it's about looking at, the woman at the well, and Jesus met with her and he told her some things about herself. And she dropped her water pot. What did she do? She ran because she heard something good and she needed to spread it. She couldn't contain it in her. She had to go and said, come see a man. So for me, I look at what I have learned, what I have gained, and says, why would I want to keep this to myself? Why would I can't contain what I've learned. I want to spread it. I want to share it with people. So some of the concepts that I've learned from Jenny Star about mortgage acceleration, and I think Rose might be able to say a little bit about that, about paying your mortgage earlier to make sure that you don't pay all that interest. Just understanding about protection and the importance of protection, and investing and the importance of investing. Again, looking from a biblical perspective, when you look at our patriarchs, they made sure that they didn't just have this selfish attitude and thought about me, myself, and I. They made provision for the generation after them and the generation after them. So for me, I have a responsibility, I have a duty to make sure that the knowledge that I have gained, that I'm able to share that, but not only to share it, but what can I do? How can I impact the people now, but not just the people now, but the people who are coming after me?
Excellent. And the thing is, financial education was removed from education schools in 1903.
Wow.
And I think it was to keep us in the situation, in the life that we've been brought up in, a life of debt. We're living in a debt system with a debt currency that's not even money, it's currency that is devaluing. And what you're doing is first class, because everybody on the planet needs to have their minds opened to the reality of what we're living in. We're now in a recession.
Yeah.
Officially, we've been in a recession for a while, as far as I'm concerned, but officially, we're now in a recession. So, you know, everything that you're saying resonates with me, because my passion is to do the same in helping educate the community.
Yeah.
So any questions about Genistar? And I know you talked about, Vivia, how you can accelerate paying off your mortgage.
Yes, so that's something I didn't know about. So all the years that I've had a mortgage, I look back and think, wow, if I had this education 25 years ago or 30 years ago, my financial situation would have been different. So we know that the banks don't have any money. Would you agree that the banks don't actually have any money?
Absolutely.
They rely on other people's money.
Mm-hmm.
So they make it out that they are the one that's sort of supporting you and giving you money. But what they do is that they manipulate and use other people's money. So, so in terms of the mortgage, most people would pay their mortgage on once a month. Yeah, whether it's the 28th of the month or the 15th of the month. So every day that you're not paying your money, your mortgage, then interest is calculated. If you take a closer look at the term of your mortgage, often it's 25 years, and the interest that you pay on that, it's probably more than the house is worth. So you're paying 2 or 3 times more interest than the capital itself. So just using the same money, whether you pay it on the 15th of the month, on the 25th of the month, or 28th of the month, using that same money, but just split it in half, 14 days, it's going to actually cut the interest rate. It's going to cut how the interest is calculated. And subsequently, it will cut the whole term of your mortgage.
And does that include if you have a fixed term arrangement with your mortgage provider?
Yeah, I think, yes, it does. Yes, it does. It does. So just as I say, you're not paying any additional money. You're just changing the way you're paying that money. So it's how you manipulate your money to suit you rather than making it work for the banks. That's something that I've been able to implement, and it's worked for me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Any questions or support, Rose?
Yeah, you don't. It's very interesting about money, because your own parents they tell you to save and all of that, but in order to make your money work for you, you don't really realize how to access what you can access. So when I learned about that point about that issue about how you can reduce the interest, because the interest on your mortgage is calculated on a daily basis, and so if you pay your mortgage, if you think about your month and you divide that month into 2, then you should be able to reduce the daily interest that you're paying, because you're not going a whole month, a whole 29 days paying that daily interest. You should be paying about 14 days interest. So I'm very poor at maths and maths in particular, but I got that plot, and as soon as I learned that, then I instigated that straight away, and I would say it's made a big difference.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Now, Rose Tinted Financial, Ebony, I think you had your microphone. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, sorry, and then I realised, sorry, Rose was speaking. So what I do is like sort of like very closely related to what you do, Vivia. And what you were saying, like, it's really interesting. But I think also alongside with that, Rose just sort of alluded to the idea of people not being good with numbers and budgeting. It's that financial literacy before. I was just wondering if you thought that, or is that something that you do a part of what you do? Because I sort of teach women how to budget, and because the problem is, I think a lot of people have the same income. A lot of people aren't in a position to sort of get a second job, or they're just, mentally just not there. So do you teach people about budgeting as well? Like,
yeah, what we do, which is really, really unique and bespoke. Now, we know that there is this 5% of the population, or, very small amount of people from the population who understand how the system works, and they will make it work for them. So those people who have money, they're able to engage with financial advisors who's able to sit with them, and they've got the money to pay for advisors to sit and go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. What we do, we sit with clients on a first appointment, and we take the details. So what Jenny Star does, it's a little bit like a sat nav. If you're going on a long journey and you don't know exactly where you're going, you need to have a map, a physical one, or most people are using their sat navs now, yeah? So we look at the financial situation in terms of a sat nav. We gather all of that, we put it together, and then we create a financial game plan, which is bespoke to that person's situation. And what the beauty of the financial game plan is that we don't charge clients for that. What we do say is that if we are able to satisfy you with what we provide, would there be any reason why you wouldn't want to take our services with us? So yes, we do teach people about how to make their money work for them. Now imagine that you're working, Rose, you've gone to work, you've left school and you've gone to work, and you've earned money over 20, 30, 40 years. And you look back after that time and think, my goodness, what have I done? What have I achieved in all that time that I've worked? So I think this is where I've become really passionate about now, is how are we going to ensure that our generation, this current generation and the generation to come, is armed in terms of protecting themselves financially and being
what I'll do after is I'll share details with you, because I'm based in Warsaw. What you're doing sounds amazing for like women who call who are from Birmingham. So after this we'll definitely connect, and I don't know if you've seen my Zoom, but everything for me is rooted in Christ as well, and the Bible. So I definitely think we could work, but sorry, I'll let you carry on.
Okay, so the other thing is that one of the things that people don't understand is about capital gains tax. There's a lot of information out there, and there's so much on the internet. You can go and think, oh gosh, I can't read this, or I can't read a book, or blah, blah, blah. But it's really, really important for people to understand how capital gains tax work. Recently, I think it's been talked about how they're going to change the threshold for capital gains tax in order to foot the bill for coronavirus. It's evil. It's evil on a large scale. So people don't understand that if you have land or property abroad and you don't protect it in a trust, the government here will say, we want you to value that, and we want to include that in your estate. So it's really important, if you've been left legacy from your family and you think, okay, it's safe, it's across the waters. No, it's not safe. It's really important to understand that not, think about, okay, there's lots of things on open at the moment in terms of how people are investing, how people are trading on the stock market, etc. But how then do you protect that money? You put it in a trust. The people in the know, the rich people, they don't pay 40% capital gains tax. They protect it for their families.
Yeah.
So it's, education, financial education is key. And we know that money's not everything, but which one of us can live without it? in this society. So we have a duty to ensure that our hard-earned cash is protected. So just taking it a little bit further, in terms of the rule of 72, I think that's something out there that people may understand. Does everybody understand the rule of 72?
There's a good video on that.
Yeah, it's if you don't understand it, there's lots of stuff on YouTube that you can go and understand the rule of 72. So people will say, you know, I've got 20, 30,000 pounds in the bank, I'm fine, thank you. Well, how much is the bank giving you on that? They've reduced the interest rate on savings now. Yeah, but yet but when they lend your money out, they're lending it out at a very high interest rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is teaching people how to make their money work for them. Jenny Start is also a business opportunity. Sorry, Carol, I'll let you ask a question.
I've just got one in the chat. You know, we talked about changing the way in which you pay your mortgage. Instead of paying it once, maybe twice. Question, do you approach your mortgage provider and tell them you want to change the terms? Or do you do it?
Okay, so what I did, and I think some of the banks are probably, because people are becoming more educated, the banks are realizing that people are becoming more astute. And I think some of them might well be changing the terms and conditions of the mortgage agreement. When I heard about it, I didn't ask my bank. I rang them. I said, I'm changing the way I pay my mortgage, thank you. So I was quite assertive on that front. I cancelled my direct debit and I set up a standing order.
Thank
and
you.
then I did that for a while, and then I
Sorry, let me just mute Selena. Okay, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so I cancelled my direct debit. I set up a standing order, paid it fortnightly. I let that run for a little while, and then I started to pay it weekly. I paid the same amount of money, but split it over four parts. So yeah, I think that's something that people can maybe go away and make some inquiries on straight away. If it's going to take 3, 4, 5 years off your mortgage, it's worth it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I've got 12 months, no, just under 2 years left on mine.
Okay. Okay, so you probably paid off. So maybe that it wouldn't benefit you so much, because I think when you get to this stage of the mortgage, you can overpay anyway, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But a lot of young people are coming up now and they're taking out mortgage for, you know, 20, I think you can get mortgage up now up to 70 or 75. You can get mortgage up to now, age-wise.
Wow, I was 60 when I got mine.
Right, okay, okay.
And I only had a 9-year mortgage term.
Yeah, yeah. So again, I think what people don't understand is the importance of protection. So imagine, and I've seen it quite often where, unfortunately, we know that in the midst of life, there is death. And life on this earth was never promised to us in the form that we are in. The body is going to decay. So naturally, we're going to depart at some point. And to ensure that your family don't pick up the bills after you're gone, it's important to make sure that you have adequate protection in place. So those are some of the things we sit and talk to families about, but understanding the different type of protection that is out there. So somebody could say, actually, I work for the armed forces, I work in the NHS, I'm protected, I'm fine, I don't need anything. What people don't sometimes understand is that actually, when you leave, that's it. They're not going to continue protecting you. You might be at an age where it becomes really expensive, or you've got health conditions that prevents you from getting protection. So it's important to think about those things. So we sit with family and we look at their holistic life and where they're at, where they want to get to, their goals and dreams, put that together in a plan, and we help them to put some of those solutions in place.
Excellent. And I noticed also from your biography, one of your goals is to reach Executive Vice President.
Yes,
How
I am.
can we help you?
Oh, how can you help me? Well, I'm looking for business partners to come on board. At the moment, I am a senior team leader in the company, and the company is saying, okay, they've rolled out this opportunity for people to become Executive Vice President by December. So that in practical terms is getting business partners on board, and premium in terms of protection. So look at what's happened with COVID. COVID has seen, unfortunately, a lot of people left stranded because they didn't have a contingency or they didn't have a plan in place. Okay, there's a saying that said, if you don't plan to fail, you fail. If you don't fail to plan, you. So it's important. So looking for people to come on board, again, relating it to the Bible. I have to look at the Bible. I always connect things. When we look at Jesus and when he was here and how he walked with his 12 disciples, he taught them, and he said, I'm going to leave you, but I want you to go and spread the news. So there is, how many people in the population? How much people have we got in the population today in the UK? Does anybody know?
Hey, Google.
I think it's 60 million.
60 million.
60 million.
55.
55.
68.
68. Yeah, I think you're close on 68. It's going on about 68 million people in the UK. I can't reach 68 million people. I need you to reach some of those people for me, because you're connected with people that I don't know. And those people that you don't know are connected to other people. And so that's how we grow our business. We don't advertise. We don't cold call. We don't knock people's doors. We work purely on recommendation only. So we get referrals through, you know, if I sit with you as a family and I provide a solution to your situation, naturally you're going to want to share it with other people. And that's how we get our referrals. At the moment, the company hasn't gone public. So yes, so you could help me by coming on board as a business partner with me. You can help me by me sitting with you and looking at products and services. For example, most people who have a mortgage need to have a buildings insurance. You can't, the mortgage provider forces you to have a buildings insurance, yeah? If you're wise, you're going to have contents insurance, because in the event of anything happening to your internal goods, you want to make sure that you can make a claim on that. Most people will insure their mobile phone. You have no choice in terms of insuring your car. Some people take the risk and go on holidays and don't take out holiday insurance. I wouldn't take that risk. But just going back to the buildings contents insurance, we work with a company. So I'm not an expert in anything, but we work with experts. And I understand that when I look at the people on here, you're connected with people that I don't know. You have a knowledge that I'm not aware of. So we work with experts who we refer our clients to, okay? We work with a company called Vitality Life. We work with a company called Premier. So Premier looks at our buildings and our contents insurance. And often they can get the client a better deal than if the client went to that provider directly. So if you did, say for example, if I referred you to Premier and they offered you a good deal and you says, yeah, I think I'm getting it £5 cheaper than my current, or even with the same, they might be able to get you a better deal, and you take out business with them, I get a small commission from that. I get residual income on an annual basis, because what Premier does is that they will ring you near your renewal date and review your situation. So there's residual income in that respect. We get residual income from Vitality Life. And my personal view is, if I'm going to take out life protection, I would want to take out life protection with somebody who's going to give me some rewards back. So Vitality, I would say, is up there in terms of quality provider. It's a bit like your Waitrose and no disrespect to anybody, but you have a range, don't you, in terms of supermarket, and people have choice. So Vitality offers over and above what a lot of the other providers will offer. People will say, yes, I've got protection, but do people really understand what they have? So when we sit with families, we look at the difference between the different type of protection and allow the client to make that choice for themselves. So I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'll educate you. I'll provide you with the facts and allow you to make that choice.
Excellent. Excellent. So you heard it here first. So definitely, I would feel more than confident if there's anyone I know to actually recommend you, Vivia.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Above all else, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I've just seen Selena has joined us. Selena, welcome. Long time no see.
Hi, how are you?
I am very good, thank you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Oh, so any questions so far? I know you've missed quite a bit, Selena, but have you got any thoughts?
No, it's about Janister.
Yes, or any, do you know Vivia well? Anything else that Vivia does?
No, I just saw your what you were saying, and I thought I haven't attended any of your things. So I thought, oh, it's good she's talking about financial, so I love to hear about finance, especially in this season.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought this is a good thing. But I did Janister before, so yeah. I recommend it. It's very good. It's just, I worked with somebody who was just a bit out of line, but anyway, I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, we still have got an insurance with it, so
yeah. It's a fantastic company, and the ethos is solid. It's based on solid principles of
biblical principles. That's what I love.
Principles
of
stewardship, because when we look at the Bible, it's all about stewardship. When it says when God says, what have you got in your hand?
What have you?
How do you use it?
Yes.
How do you use
I love
what
that.
I've given to you?
Yeah.
Sorry, Selena, carry on.
I said, it just reminds me, somebody was talking about, the talents. And so it's like, okay, some people put their money in the bank, some invested them in something which can give them back. Some, they just hide it and then they don't get anything. So it just goes about now, these days when we live, what are we doing with what God gave us? Are we just keeping it and it doesn't grow, or we look for something which makes which will help us leave something for our children or for the next generation? So thank you, Viv, for doing that.
Absolutely. And I think if you look at the banks now and the interest rate, because with the COVID situation, we know that the banks have reduced their interest on loans.
Yeah.
So if you have your calculator, you put 72 divided by 0.1% and see how long it's going to take for your money to work, to double.
Sorry, mine gives me 0.01.
There you go. 72 divided by 0.01. It will take probably about 72 years for your money to double. And that same money, I go to the bank to get a loan for a car or something, and the bank is charging me 12% or more.
Yeah.
So just going back to the issue about the talents, where do you put your money? What has God given unto us? He's given us the ability to work. He's given us the ability to earn. What do we do? Are we good stewards of that? And I think especially, people who are whose foundation is biblical and God-fearing, how do we support the wider community in terms of the churches? What are we doing in terms of our schools? What are we doing in terms of providing for the older people when people become frail and cannot help themselves? What are we doing?
Yeah. And that's why I love what I do. You know, it's we need to look beyond ourselves and look for our future bloodline and their bloodline, their children, because we're just living with a veil.
Yeah.
And just going with the herd mentality. This is how it's always been, so this is how I will continue to develop, etc., etc. But you know, as you say,
we were taught to stay broke.
Yes,
somebody says,
broke
somebody
mentality.
from my country was saying, when they came to give us education, they told us to claim the names of the prairies of Canada, the rivers around, the longest river in the world, this and that. What does that have to do with my life? You know, it doesn't have anything to do with what I need in my life, in my future. You know, because if I claim it, what is it helping me? No.
Yeah.
It's just wasting my time, and then that's teaching you to suppress your mind. You don't think outside the classroom. You don't think outside the textbook. You don't go to bed. You don't sleep because you want to claim. If they could, teach you how to make money, how to, to farm, it would be much better. But they taught us to just, oh gosh, Pythagoras theorem. What do I need Pythagoras theorem for? I don't need it. It's crazy. So now when we have people like you who are teaching others to say, rise, wake up and make a difference, it's just wonderful.
Absolutely. Look at the situation as we speak now in terms of COVID and the impact it's having on whether we believe it or not, what the media is putting out about how things are impacting our community. But when you look at poverty, when you look at education, when you look at political stuff, where are we in that? Where are we? So if I can help 5 people to go and help 5 more people, to go and help 5 people, I think I would have done my job.
Yeah.
I think beyond ourselves, as you've said, and go that extra mile and do something that's going to leave a positive impact on somebody's life.
Yeah, absolutely. And, sometimes I know someone else in the group have said that, which, people may have read by now, but our approach, even in our business, can either drive people away from us or lead them to us. And through to bad experiences, it's put somebody off. It put me off, I know that. And that's why I'm said I can, if there's anyone I know who wants to know more, I will gladly refer you, because I know your heart, I know where you're coming from.
Thank you. I think it just comes from my love of people, my love of people just generally, and just that unselfish side of me that will deny my own self to help somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, at the moment I'm not tithing in church, and I think, wow, okay, how can I give something? It's important for us when we earn that we give. So there's the law of your 10%. So even though people might think, actually, I'm not going to church now, it's still important to give. It really is important to give. So I look at ways that I can give. One of my passion as well is to be able to go back to the community that I grew up in. When I look at the children there and the need for computer, I want to be able to set up a internet cafe so the local children don't have to travel too far to go to the towns to try and wait hours to sit around one computer. So that's something that I'm passionately working towards. And that's why I want to be able to leave my full-time job. I want to be able to do Jenny Star full-time. It will give me the time to be able to expand. The beauty of Jenny Star now is that you can work the business from the comfort of your own home. You can work right across the country, in Northern Ireland, in Scotland. So it's just building networks right across the country. Yeah.
It's awful. Well, I'm retired, but it's
okay.
it's wonderful to be able to work from home. It seriously is, and I do network marketing, so that's what I do.
Okay.
But yes, I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. And welcome, Michelle. Hi. Have you got any questions or anything you'd like to ask Vivia? You're on mute. Oh, can you unmute yourself? Let me see.
Okay, I've done that now. Well, I'm actually, part of Vivia's team in Genostar. So basically, I'm just here to hear what my leader has to say. And she, she's still inspiring me. She's still inspiring me, and it is. I can only echo what Vivia has said. Basically, we are helping families. Encouraging people to have a look at what they've got, how they're spending it, and how they can spend it better. So yeah.
Excellent. And I've got some books to recommend as well. So, have you heard about The Creature from Jekyll Island? It's all about the Federal Reserve and how it came into being. And there's also The Richest Man in Babylon.
I know that one, yeah.
Yes. And of course, Robert Kiyosaki's, as well as Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's also got The Cash Flow Quadrant, which is an excellent book. There's so many good educational books out there we can really help ourselves with.
But you know what I find? It's good. You have people who are avid readers, people who'd love to read, and being able to take what is it actually in this textbook and implement it into their daily lives. And there's some people who need that classroom sort of scenario to actually break things down into small bite size for them and help them from one stage to the next. So it's a combination of the two that we do.
Yeah, the books is just personal development, something you do in your own time, a chapter at a time or whatever. But certainly since I started this, my latest venture, I have been actually going through those books, and it's opening up my eyes even more. So yeah. Oh, thank you. So it's now 7:10 almost. So does anyone else have anything to bring to the table? Have you enjoyed the evening? Has it been beneficial? Trish?
Yes, I'm just saying very much so. As with all the meetings that I've attended and the training sessions, I only joined Genostar last week, so I'm a newie. It's been an abundance, such an abundance of and wealth of knowledge and, people's own stories like Vivia. And I take that and I use that as fuel to enable me to go to where I need to go. So thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. Brilliant.
Come on, David.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to also echo what Trish said as well. Yeah, I joined Genostar about a month ago. I was sort of with them for about 3 months, but joined them a month ago, and then just got in touch with Phil Eggleston. Remember Phil Eggleston?
I do, indeed.
Yeah, and he says that someone actually got in touch with him about 2 months ago about Genostar. And so, because I think at the moment people are looking to really not just look after their finances, but also do something, extra online. And so whereas, someone might maybe learn how to cook or how to bake or how to draw online or do this and that. That's sort of like a hobby, but this is actually a life skill. And so I've realized that if I'd started this maybe years ago, let's say 6-7 years ago, I think by now I'd have been financially independent and I've been helping someone else, which is what I really enjoy doing as well. So I'm grateful that I've joined Genistar and that I'm in the best team. I think, you know, I really feel that.
I
Yeah.
think you're in the best team.
So,
I don't know anyone else. Well, I do know somebody else, but I think you're the best team.
I think, can I just say as well that there's a big difference with, say, taking on a business, especially a home business where you can offset a lot of things, a lot of taxes. Some people think, oh, it's easy to just go and get a second job. Yes, it's fine to go and get a second job, but think about the fact that you have to pay, is it 40% on a second job? Yeah, is it really worth it? So all that effort and time that you put into getting that money, you might as well invest your time and effort into building something that, you know, it's yours. It's a legacy that you can leave for the next generation. Excellent. When I leave my job, they will say, oh, you know, Vivia did a brilliant job. But I'm a number in my workplace at the moment. I work really, really hard. And I think if I just spent half of the time, the effort that I put in working my own business, I would be so much further gone. So Genistar has opened my eyes to so many things. I've been able to get another property just on the knowledge that I've gained from Genistar. In the past, I would have said, all right, I'm going to sell this house and buy another house. But the knowledge I've gained about how do you build wealth, understanding how to build wealth has enabled me to go from having one property to two.
Excellent. Now, can I ask you, Vivia, to put your contact details in the chat, please?
Yes, I will.
Excellent. And also from Ebony from Rose Tinted Financial Services. You've expanded my knowledge on lowering financial debt with mortgages and capital gains. I can feel your passion. Blessings to you. Please can I have the company details so we can connect? So that's what you're doing now. And excellent. Thank you for that feedback, Ebony.
I think I've put everything there. I'm gonna put another email address as well.
I can't see anything come up yet. Have you actually clicked send?
Not yet. Just put another email address in. So I'm gonna send. I think I've done it now.
Yes, you have.
So I'll put my personal and my Genistar.
Can I suggest before we close, if you can save the chat so you've got, or take a screenshot so you've got Vivia's details. That's wonderful. And I'm going to, because it's been such an amazing evening, should we close out with a prayer?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Are you praying, Carol?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you so much, God, just for creating today, that we can be participants of everything that's gone on today, Lord. And we know that, you know, tomorrow is never guaranteed, but we thank you for blessing our evening in the company of Vivia and everyone else who has been in this call. I thank you, God, that you do make the way and you're the only one. You are the way maker. And I thank you that our steps are ordered. I thank you, God, that you know us deeply, Heavenly Father. And I thank you for Yeshua and everything that he has done so that we can live a free life, God, in you. Thank you so much for this evening. Thank you for the nuggets that have been imparted to us, Lord, and knowledge learned. Thank you so much for Vivia and everything that she's doing. We pray for her success, that she will achieve her goal, God. We know that your timing is always the best timing, but I pray that we can do everything that we can to help her succeed in her mission to become an executive vice president at the given time. Thank you so much, Lord, for this time. Thank you for everyone who's been a party to our Zoom Interactive this evening. Brought to us by Business Action Momentum Enterprise. Thank you for the members who are already on there, like Marcia and myself and Vivia. I just thank you so much, God. just for creating another type of fellowship. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
the recording of this will be on the Business Action.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
It will be on the YouTube channel, BAME YouTube channel. So it will be posted at some point. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye, Marcy. Bye, Michelle. Trish. All right. Take care.
Okay. God bless them.
Bye-bye.
See you, Carol.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, then.